Robert Duvall. What happens when one of Hollywood's most respected actors decides he's done keeping quiet? When a soft-spoken craftsman finally unloads on legends, calling some an actor's enemy, turning down blockbuster money, and icing out co-stars with a single sentence? Today, we're diving into the 6 industry heavyweights that Robert Duvall couldn't stand working with and the surprisingly personal reasons behind those rifts. Buckle up, because this ride starts hot and never lets up. Let's set the stage. Duvall built his reputation on honesty in performance, and honesty off camera. If he thought someone's process disrespected the craft, he said so loudly. He didn't care if the name on the chair was a box office god or an auteur with a museum wing. He believed in preparation, discipline, and presence. And if you got in the way of that, he had smoke for you. Now, let's walk through the 6 names that drew his sharpest fire. Marlon Brando. Duvall admired the revolution. Brando sparked the casual, natural style that reshaped acting, but he never looked at him through rose-tinted glasses. Duvall's core gripe? Respect for the work. He believed Brando's dependence on cue cards, sometimes even asking other actors to tape lines to their bodies, wasn't charming eccentricity. It was a bad habit that bled into laziness. To Duvall, brilliance should never be an excuse to undercut scene partners or derail a moment when the focus wasn't on you. He later admitted Brando changed the game, but insisted that preparation and spontaneity aren't opposites. You can know your lines cold and still find lightning in the take. For Duvall, that's the job. Stanley Kubrick. This one stunned people. Duvall once called the legendary director an actor's enemy. Why? The endless takes. He looked at films like The Shining and A Clockwork Orange and saw not greatness in performance, but exhaustion. His question was brutally simple. If you're doing your 70th take, what are you chasing that you missed in the first 10? He felt that kind of repetition sands off the human edge that makes a performance alive. A director's genius, in Duvall's view, isn't measured by how long they can grind an actor down. It's in how precisely they draw out the truth without torturing the person in front of the lens. Henry Hathaway. Walk onto the True Grit set in 1969, and you'd feel old-school Hollywood authority crackling in the air. Hathaway came from a command and control tradition. Bark the order, hit the mark, move on. Duvall, even then, was a realism purist. He wanted breathing room space to live the character, not just execute cues. Their clash was immediate and deep. Duvall has hinted that the dynamic felt suffocating, even mechanical, like being asked to fake tension instead of finding it. He rarely even spoke about Hathaway later. That silence? It said plenty. Some scars aren't about volume, they're about principle. Bruce Beresford. Irony loves Hollywood. Under Beresford's direction on Tender Mercies, Duvall delivered the performance that won him his Best Actor Oscar. And yet, the process was a war of philosophies. Beresford's attention to detail often felt to Duvall like a cage, too many boundaries, not enough oxygen. Duvall fought to keep the role loose, human, unvarnished. The result was extraordinary art built out of tension. You can almost feel it on screen. A quiet man carrying 1,000 unspoken pounds. The win didn't erase the frustration, though. Sometimes the trophy doesn't reflect what it cost to get there. David Fincher. Precision meet resistance. Fincher's reputation for dozens of takes has become filmmaking folklore. Fans call it methodical brilliance. Duvall saw something closer to paralysis by analysis. He felt that doing a line 40, 50, 60 times smothers the spark. You stop listening, stop reacting, and start calculating. There was even a moment in the mid-90 seconds when Duvall was floated for a role in Say 7N. Officially, other commitments got in the way. Unofficially, let's just say Duvall wasn't keen on living in a take factory. For him, truth shows up when the scene breathes, not when it's micromanaged to dust. Robert De Niro. No fireworks here, just an ice-cold philosophical divide. The world bowed to De Niro's transformations, shaved heads, weight gains, accents sharpened like knives. Duvall shrugged. To him, that's window dressing, if the inner life isn't grounded. He once quipped, in his own dry way, that De Niro is very good at playing Italians. Respectful? Sure, but pointed. The subtext? The craft isn't in the costume changes. It's in the listening, the stillness, the moment-to-moment truth. They shared the Godfather universe, yet walked totally different creative roads. No feuds. No tabloid drama. Just two titans with opposite compasses. Now, before we wrap, why did these clashes matter so much to Duvall? Because to him, acting is a blue-collar trade dressed in tuxedos. You clock in prepared, you give your partner everything, you honor the scene above your ego. He loathed behavior that humiliated younger actors, upstaged colleagues, or turned sets into stress labs. And he rejected the idea that pain automatically equals art. His standards weren't mood swings, they were a code. Do you have to agree with him? Not at all. Maybe you think Kubrick's 127th take dug up diamonds no one else could find. Maybe you believe De Niro's transformations are the very definition of commitment. That's the beauty of this conversation. It forces us to ask what great acting really means. Is it fireworks or embers? Is it reinvention? Or is it the courage to be still? Duvall planted his flag. He wanted discipline, humility, and absolute presence. Everything else, in his eyes, was noise. And here's the twist. Even in the relationships that frustrated him, Beresford, for instance, the work can still be sublime. That contradiction is the heartbeat of filmmaking. Friction can break a scene, or make it immortal. We just explored the 6 big names who ran straight into Duvall's non-negotiables. Marlon Brando, Stanley Kubrick, Henry Hathaway, Bruce Beresford, David Fincher, and Robert De Niro. Different people, same fault line processes that, in his view, smothered authenticity or disrespected the actor's space. Agree or disagree, his convictions shaped an extraordinary career and gave us a masterclass in where craft ends and spectacle begins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's most combustible creative collisions, tap like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. And, hey, drop a comment with the next icon you want me to cover. Your pick might be up next.